football got into your life?
Oh, uh, it's a very long story, and to be honest, for me to choose football was not that difficult because my father used to play football, so that was like in the genes. But to be honest, football was not the first thing which I started. I used to play cricket, so I used to play cricket for my school team. But ultimately, my dad was, a state coach, so he used to take me around for football matches. So I went for football matches, and just looking at the amount of crowd coming in, people cheering for their teams, and the goal scorer, you after the game, used to be carried on the shoulders. So that thing really fascinated me. I said, I do want to be, like those players. And then, the bug had bit me, and then it started. I started playing football at the age, not too early, but at the age of 10 or 11, if I'm not wrong. Before that, I used to play cricket. Then slowly, steadily, with the guidance of my dad and a lot of exposure, where my dad used to take me for practice session and everything. I started representing my district, state, right from under 13 to Santosh Trophy. I played at all levels, so I enjoyed my football in Gujarat. So that is the way
Which
I. Sorry, yeah, please go ahead.
which position do you play in football as a player?
Yeah. So when I was young, everybody likes to score. So I started as a striker, but then when you don't get the enough balls, to score a goal, then I just took a step down and I started playing as attacking midfielder. And slowly when grew up, my accuracy was slightly better. So my coach asked me to play as the role, the anchorman role, which is called the central midfielder. So I started playing central midfielder, where I started, playing those important balls to the attacking line.
That's nice. So how did you become as a coach? Because you have worked for 4 continuous years with an ISL team, which I think not many coaches in India has worked. And you have worked with where we look in the screens and we say, oh, can we have a glimpse of him? But you have stayed with them and you have worked with them. So how was your feeling, and how did you get onto the coaching line apart from your playing career?
So when I talk about my, how did I came into coaching, it is an interesting story. I was in college in year 2000. So unfortunately, my leg, the shin bone, which is also called the tibia, it got broke because of some stupid decision of mine, where I wanted to dribble past the goalkeeper also, where I could have scored a goal, but the goalkeeper, he jumped on me and he broke my tibia. And then what I did is, I could not do anything, but inter college was almost there. So I was feeling very sad, but I had a very good bunch of players, my colleagues. I was captain of my team, so unfortunately captain is not available for the tournament. So the one good thing which they used to do is they used to carry me, along with them on the motorbike or in the car. During the training session, I used to sit outside. I used to shout from out. So our coach also used to take me, involved me in motivating the players. So then I thought, yes, I can do something. And then once I completed my college in 2002, I straight away went to NIS Patiala, where I completed my diploma in sports coaching. But the passion for playing was never less. So I continued playing. I came back. I used to play for Reserve Bank of India as one of the stipend player. So I continued playing. But when I got an opportunity to go and attend C license course in 2006, and when I went there, there were a lot of good players, good coaches who were already working at different level. So when I went there, and I saw that I also have something in me, and if I'm not better, I'm no less than all these coaches who are experienced in working at the highest level. And then I decided, no, now I will be very serious, and maybe as a player, everybody has that aim of donning this jersey as a player, but I could not. But I thought, now I will become a national team coach for sure. So from there, that Janoon, we said no, was there. And then I started working on my coaching profession. I completed my B license, completed A license, And then God was also gracious. I got good assignments. I got opportunity to work with the national team, also the women's under 16 national team. Then I also worked with Tata Football Academy, and then 4 seasons I worked with Delhi Dynamo. So a short story where I worked football.
How was your, how did you handle Del Pereira? Because he was, we can say like a king of football, So how was your connectivity with him? Because when I had seen you in WFA, when I had come and taken a pictures which you had organized for me, for the small kids to come who were all under 4 years, and still we have those jerseys signed by him. And whenever we see the jersey, I definitely think of you more than him, because the way you were able to coordinate with him, and especially being an Indian coach, and especially from Gujarat, where the state where a very less number of coaches, but you came up so much well and you connected with him so much. I think there was no other person around you who were able to connect with him as you were connecting with him. How did this happen?
So
what is the secret?
Yeah, the secret is nothing. It's just when you have to be yourself. Don't try to fake yourself, because people always try to fake by saying, "Oh, sir, I'm your biggest fan," and blah 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 blah. So I never faked. I really liked him as a player because he was the legend, the goal scorer, one of the best Italian player, of his time, World Cup winner, everything he had under his belt. But again, I was excited, but I also knew that, I am a coach. Though I'm an assistant coach, but my designation is a coach, and he is joining in as a player. So definitely, our meeting was very short and simple, but as assistant coach, we have a job, we are a kind of a bridge between the players and the coach. So it was not only that Indian players whom I was helping, I was, trying to connect them with the philosophy of the coach, but also the international players. And the way I, used to talk to them, I used to, behave with them. So maybe they like my nature, and slowly those, those bonds became stronger. And players, actually, they don't need anything. They need, love and respect. That is something I think most of us also need. So if you give them love and respect, definitely they're going to reciprocate, and they're going to give you back. So that was something. And I still remember, Del Piero, not only for you, but whenever there were fans around who asked for a photograph or autograph, he never refused. So he came with a big group. He had his own personal trainer, he has his own physio, he has his own manager, a photographer. So I used to talk to them a lot. So they told me that after one of the training session in Juventus, Del Piero was there for 2 hours just signing autographs and taking photographs after the training session. The one thing which not many legend players have is he can never say no to a fan. He always give that time. So that was amazing, and then I really got inspired, and I just took something out of that, and I also decided that yes, if I reach at that level, or if somebody comes to me for any help or assistance, I will, with best of my knowledge, will definitely help him.
That's nice. How was your experience working with Roberto Carlos? Because you were his assistant coach over there, and having a star player next to you, and each time when you see him touching the ball, you will be looking forward for it, right?
Absolutely. I still remember in season 2 when we got to know Roberto Carlos is going to join us, not only as a coach, as player come coach. So I can proudly say that in 2 of the matches when Roberto Carlos was inside the pitch, I was the coach outside, taking the charge. So that is also an amazing moment. Though his English was not that great, but with his broken English and Spanish, he used to encourage, he used to motivate all the players and staff well. So that was a really good, and we did very good in season 2. We were unfortunate that we could not qualify for the semi-finale, but for the finals we lost in the semi-finals, but again I enjoyed. Very nice gentleman, speaks very less, but very effective.
There should be a lot of difference, right? Because you had worked with Tata Academy and then working with an ISL team. that transition was it was totally because there you were as a head of youth development over there, and of course on your being as a coach, you have won some of the few of the tournaments over there. And so what was the difference from there to here? Obviously, there is a lot of difference, but how were you able to cope up?
See, when I talk about the coaching front, at Tata Football Academy, I had the freedom. I was the coach. I used to plan my session. I used to deliver the session. So it was me, and my staff, just 2 or 3 people. And I was dealing with, upcoming players of India. So I can proudly say when I was there, Udanta Singh was one of the player. Vinit Rai was one of the player. Konsam Sana was one of the player. Hitesh Sharma was one of the player. Iban was one of the player. There were so many players, who are currently playing for maybe national team or ISL clubs. So that batch was amazing, and you rightly said because that batch was so amazing, I didn't have to do much. We won a lot of tournaments. We also won the Under 18 I League for 2014 season. And when I talk about ISL, comparing the Tata Football Academy's thing and ISL, there I know that I have to work with an international coach with mix of professional Indian players and professional international players. So when you work with amateur players, those are amateurs, youth players. So they are into you. Sir, क्या करना है बताओ? हम ये करेंगे, हम वो करेंगे. But when we talk about international players, national players, they know their roles and responsibility. It's all about preparing a plan and executing those plans. So when I worked with the ISL teams for 4 seasons, it was not that difficult because players, they know what to do. The only thing is we need to prepare plans. We need to do a lot of match analysis. We need to do a lot of opposition analysis, and then accordingly we need to prepare a plan and we need to execute. So that was the difference.
So now you have turned into a full-time instructor, rather than being concentrating on the coaching field of it. So what made you to take up this? Because you are a very experienced coach. You had worked with under 16 women's team, and then you have worked with the Tata Academy. You have worked with an ISL team. So what is the step that you have taken? Like you as an instructor, because you were a brilliant B license instructor, and now you have become a C license, and I'm sure like you're going in for a B license instructor also. So, how come you have taken suddenly a decision to become a full-time instructor comparing to a coach?
So, it's to be honest, what I feel that, India is a country which has a lot of potential. We have amazing players, and when we see few of the results which our national team has produced in last few years are very surprising and motivating. So I feel that we need a big pool of players who can, challenge the players who are already at the elite level. So to produce good players, we need good coaches, and to have good coaches, we need a lot of, coach educators. So when we have good coach educators who can pass on the right information, right knowledge to the upcoming coaches, and when they go back and start working with the respective players, they're going to follow all the right training regimes. They're going to educate the players in a right manner where they can turn into strong players in future. They can challenge those established players. And when I as a coach have to prepare my team from a pool of 30 players, it's not difficult. But when I have to prepare my team from a pool of 300 players who are almost similar, then it's very difficult. And then, you will have a much better team rather than selecting 11 players from 30. I would rather prefer to select, 11 or 22 players from 300 or 500. So India needs those, maximum elite players playing at the top level. So when we have those elite players also working at the, playing at the top level, what will happen? The number of foreigners playing in our domestic leagues may also come down because we have the quality. And once the foreign players, the number of foreign players goes down, the job or the opportunity for Indian players, Indian coaches will also rise. So then I feel or I see that in coming 4 to 5 years, we will see an Indian, a head coach at all the league level all the national team level from juniors to senior also. We are on a right track, I feel.
So, to become as there are many coaches, who are looking forward to become as an instructor like you. And of course, you are way ahead of others because of the, experience that you had got, and you have traveled abroad also. And so, how can one become as a good instructor? I mean,
yeah, definitely. If we talk about today's generation, we need to understand that coaching is a very serious job. Earlier, when I was a player, I know my coach didn't had the access to all the information right now, which we have with a click of a button. So he used to do a lot of trial and errors. But now, we have to be updated. We have to be upgraded, not only on the field, but through the research work also, because football, the modern demands of the modern football are such where, we are constantly, which are constantly changing. We never knew. I just see Varun Achareja here, who is a big Liverpool fan. He is happy that, the Liverpool is winning Champions League. They are winning the Premier League after 30 years. So, you see what a coach can do. So again, when we talk about coach educator, yes, you should have a personality to deal with young as well as experienced players, former players, or maybe, who are passionate of football and coming into coaching. I will here, Kalpana, just like to bring in an approach which has helped me a lot, which is called an andragogy approach. So when we talk about this andragogy, it's all about learning of adults. So when we are, conducting a session, we need to understand that they are not our students. They are adults. We are dealing with adults, and we cannot be like teachers. Okay, good morning, wish me good morning, stand in a line. No, they are our colleagues. We have to go to their level, because if we don't go to their level, they will never open up. They will never talk, because in India, people are very reserved, very introvert most of the time. So they don't, open up and they, ask their questions. So it is very, very important to come down to their level and help them. As a coach educator, I am not going there to pass somebody or fail somebody. No, that is not my job. That is their performance which will make them pass or fail. My job is to impart them knowledge, to help them understand football better. So that is what I have to do. So that is something which I do it, and I always inspire and talk to other coach educators also, that I am an A license. If I feel that isko itna nahi aata, he will never know, because he's not even a D license. So he cannot be at my level. He can never come to my level during that course. So it is me who has to go to his level. So that is very, very important, which all the coach educators are doing and need to do.
And I think that as a player, we're discussing about Gujarat. I think those days, Dharmesh Patel was another great sportsman whom we all see as a good human being like you. So, can you share, what is the player's pathway in Gujarat? Because as of now, we see a lot of development in Gujarat taking place. And especially the state academy is more interested in developing the players over there by recruiting the right type of coaches. I think when you're under 15 or under 18 as a Spain coach and a female coach here. And, there are a lot of development happening for players in Gujarat. So what is your view on that?
Definitely, Gujarat, if you talk about Gujarat as football around 5 years back or 6 years back, there was not much development. Whenever we used to go for state championship, the national championship, the host state used to like to take Gujarat, in their own pool, and they want to do, play that opening game where they think Gujarat is not the strong side and we can play against them and win. But now the time is changing, because earlier there were not so many coaches in Gujarat. There were very few coaches, and they were not licensed coaches. But if I talk about the current scenario, we have 2 A licensed coaches, myself and Gopal Kag is the other one. We have 3 B licensed coaches. One of them is a female. We have 30 plus C licensed coaches and around 200 plus the grassroots, that is E and D certificate courses. So now a lot of coaches, qualified licensed coaches are working at school level, district level, academy level. So they are now working in a very systematic pattern. So football is what do we say, upgrading in Gujarat because of this qualified coaches. I will talk about the female football scenario in Gujarat. As you know pointed out, there is a place called Patan in Gujarat. There is a small village where only girls play football. So they are only
Football, right?
absolutely, and they are in a school where their headmaster just be there, allow the girls to play. He doesn't know anything about football, but the only thing is he take care in a manner where there is no eve teasing or boys loitering around and disturbing the girls. So those girls have brought a revolution. They did amazing job by uh, we can say implicit learning. You heard about two type of learning. One is called the explicit learning and one is called the implicit learning, where you learn by yourself. So those girls have shown an excellent example of implicit learning by just watching videos, just seeing football on their mobile, and then trying to replicate, and they have become amazingly well in their game. They won all the state championship right from 14, 17 senior. uh, in fact, Gujarat State did amazingly well in the women's national championship at the under 14 level, at the under 17 level. They reached up to semi-finals also. So, and two or three girls were also called for the under 17 preparatory World Cup camps also. So I feel women's football is doing good in Gujarat. But even when we talk about men's football, yes, we have a second division team from Ahmedabad, and hopefully in coming years we will have more teams competing for that slot from Gujarat for second division. So football in Gujarat is really bright.
Because I think they have a handful of even the local lads who have joined over there, and they are doing good over there. So that is a great thing. And I have watched most of the Gujarat players are midfielders. So what is there any what are the qualities of a midfielder? Because you have also been at a good midfielder. And Dharmesh also plays as a midfielder. So most of them who come to Gujarat are specialists for the midfielder, because I am playing as a midfielder. Then later on when we started playing it with the Tabirati and all that during our last course with Mr. Robin, and you played as a midfielder also, where you did a great performance over there. So what are the qualities of a midfielder?
Yeah. So when we talk about qualities of a midfielder, midfielder actually is the anchor man of a team. He is the bridge between the defending line and the attacking line. Everything has to pass through, ideally, not everything, but ideally pass through the midfielder. And actually, he's the one who, instigate the attack, and, he's the one who is the first line of defense. Not always, because it depends upon the phases of play also, where the ball actually is. But yeah, if you see the number of touches also in a match, you will always find midfielders having maximum touches on the ball on an average at the world level also. So yeah, that is why midfielders are very creative. They have a lot of touches. They have good ball control, and they play the ball a lot. And you said why we have a lot of midfielders. Sometimes we become selfish because we need a lot of balls. So playing in that position, you always get maximum balls. So maybe that might be one of the reasons. Just on a lighter note, but you need to have some quality to play at that place.
Person, because I also have a team for soccer, and where I train the young players over there. So I tell them when you scan, it's more of like a mathematical numbers. So if your math is good, definitely your numbers are good. And moving on to that, you have also been as a good commentator apart, and you have been doing a great show in Gujarat channel, and especially where you are talking in your own language there. So how did this happen? Where was this influence came from?
It was not planned, to be honest. It was never planned, and I never wanted to come into commentary thing. But I remember when I took a sabbatical from coaching in 2018 March. So that year we had the FIFA World Cup. So one of the local channel from Gujarat, they approached me and they told me, sir, we want to do a live show for the Gujarati audience on FIFA World Cup, where we will come, for half an hour, we talk about the build up for the tonight's game and what are the things. I said, yeah, definitely. But, I was scared because though I am born and brought up in Gujarati, I speak very good Gujarati, but it has been so long, almost 6-7 years where I was, out of Gujarat, working at Jamshedpur, working in Delhi, where I don't meet a lot of Gujarati people and talk Gujarati. So that kickstart was missing. I said, यार मेरे तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगी, मैं तो गुजराती में हिंदी को मिक्स कर दूंगा. So they said, कोई बात नहीं सर, करते हैं. And then it took me just one day, one session, and then because I did lot of interviews, I did some shows where people used to take my interview, so I was never shy of the camera. So that was one of the reason where I did that thing, and from there when the Star Sports approached, in fact Raman Vijayan was the one who asked me that whether I'm interested to come as a commentator, and he connected me with the right people at Star Sports, and then I went there and everything happened. I was so lucky that auditions went well. I was given the opening match, and I also did the final match of the ISL season 6, and around I did 40 odd games meanwhile.
Because you had been all-rounder, you have been as a good administrator, also having your vote club. So do you still run your academy, or is it taken over by somebody, or how do you spend do you keep the time for your academy?
It was amazing. I still remember it was in year 2009. I started my own academy, and with a very small scale, with some friends, and working in a small area, and slowly it got bigger, and we had different age groups. We started participating in tournaments. I prepared a senior team of just college boys, who used to play with me, who liked me ke अरे भैया साथ में मिलके खेलते. So we made an amazing team. So right from under 14 to seniors, we started winning all the championship, or we were almost there in all the finals. So that was an amazing.
I think the call is going to get cut. So first, in case it gets cut, please join us back.
Yeah. So so when I went to Tata Football Academy, unfortunately, there were some senior players who wanted to continue, but because they also were playing, so they got good offers from different teams. So they went and joined other teams, so they could not take care of the academy, and slowly in a year or two we had to then wind up. So that was a sad part, but again you never know, in future I may again revive that academy.
Actually, your players might be missing you, like how most of your students are missing in the group.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, my job, my profession in such where, I actually don't know where I am tomorrow. So that is one of the reason. And when you start an academy, or when you start working with some players now, there has to be a commitment, and unfortunately, when you are into coach education, the commitment level is slightly difficult because, you travel a lot, you have different things, as you rightly mentioned, I do a lot of other stuffs also. So because of that thing, I cannot be on the field most of the time. So when I am not there, they might not feel comfortable also. So that is one of the reason where, I thought only when I'm stagnant, that is the time I'm going to again revive the academy.
Thank you so much for being with us, and for taking off the time, and for educating us so much. So thank you, viewers, for joining us, and so see you all on coming Friday at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Bye. Take care. God bless all.